Welcome back to the Anecdote Podcast. This is episode 4. I'm here with my guy, Justin Victorio.
Yo.
Today we have Tatiana Gomez. Say hello to the camera.
Hello. Welcome on the show. Welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right, so we'll just get straight into it.
Yes, sir.
So Tatiana went to high school with us, Belleville High, class of 2013. Yeah.
I got confused.
All right, so just to start off,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What do you like?
Well, my name is Tatiana Gomez. I'm 25, just turned 25.
Own it.
Gemini.
Let's go.
And yeah, I moved to Belleville when I was like in 5th grade. I moved around a lot before that, but born in Newark and raised in Colombia. Spanish is my first language.
Hey,
Where did we learn that today?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I started like pre-K, kindergarten out there. I'm not gonna go like into my whole life story.
Summation.
But yeah, my dad was a musician. He played Colombian folk music.
Yeah.
And my mom was a beautician. So came back to the United States, did my education here, high school, everything here now in Belleville, high school. Went to the University of Delaware and
Blue Hands, what's up?
And now living in California, working for a technology company.
Nice.
Recently moved to California.
Yes.
Yeah, a year ago.
How was that transition?
Oh, it's only been a year.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
over like
a little over a year.
little over a year?
February.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I want to ask, like, how was that transition going from the East Coast to West Coast?
I'd say California was kind of calling my name for quite some time, and
I feel the same exact
once
way.
I decided that I was going to go, it actually was very quick. I started this new job. I was previously working at a content marketing platform company. It's a software for marketing teams to use during the creation process for their content. And so that was in Soho. And, just somebody like reached out to me. They're like, hey, I feel like you have a background that would really fit in my company. He was a guy that we had mutual friends from the town over in Kearney.
Okay.
And we met up one day. He invited me to a recruiting event that they were hosting in Soho. So I was like, fuck it.
Why
I'm
not?
gonna go down the hall.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like down the street. It was like 2 blocks, and ended up going to the event. Really liked it. Ended up applying for the company, but I specifically only wanted to work for the nonprofit arm. So
Okay.
I really, at this point, already knew that I wanted to go into philanthropy, and I got the job. And they had the position open in San Francisco and in New York, but they made the offer for New York, and I was like, whatever, yeah, sure. I mean, I got the job. They say that, getting into this company is a lot harder than getting into Harvard. So I was like, oh shit, okay, cool, I made it.
Yo, kudos to you. Yeah.
And so I ended up going to Salesforce. That's the company, and specifically Salesforce.org. And they ended up in New York. And so literally a month later, they're like, hey, the position in San Francisco is still open if you're like willing to go, but we won't cover the moving costs. And I was like, okay, let me think about this.
Yeah.
And
How long did it take you to like reflect? Or you said it was predominantly easy.
yeah, basically
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna do it. I had to be like, how am I gonna do
You
this?
have to
Just like,
figure out
yes.
the logistics.
So
yes
yeah,
for
it's
the
just like
joke.
the logistics of it before I like 100% kind of confirmed. And so I just like started the apartment search and tried to get something. Basically, also I was just hired, so I was still in the process of getting onboarded.
Okay.
And they sent me out there to do like a boot camp training. And so when I went out there, I'm like, first, like, let me see how it is out here.
we'll see the
I'm like,
lifestyle.
we'll see how lifestyle is.
Yeah.
Like, do I really fit here? And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I went and was looking for apartments out there. And once I went back to New Jersey, I like made sure I like got an apartment like set, and we ended up confirming that I would be in that position as of February. And so I was like, all right, cool. And so by February, I was already getting assigned my territory, which was going to be California.
Yeah.
Technically the West Coast. And so I already started working with customers out there and things like that.
Okay.
And I had yet another work event that I had to go to California for, but this was in San Diego. And so what they helped me out with was, yes, they were still going to be covering my flights from the West Coast to the East Coast, or vice versa, the round trip.
Yeah.
But what I did was strategically book a long layover in San Francisco, so I could do like a suitcase drop off. And then from San Francisco go to San Diego.
I feel you.
Because what I had determined at that point was that I was going to do a cross country trip with my friends.
Oh yeah.
And so I wanted to have my car and have some of my goods with me and have a good trip and with my friends and enjoy it. And what I did was get a U-Haul. Packed it up, and it's the ones that they pick up in a box and ship it.
Yeah.
So it's like a mini shipping container that they get to your house. And then a couple, days or so later, like everything was at my doorstep. And it took me 3-4 days in total because we didn't stop.
Oh, you didn't stop?
Actually?
How was that?
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was pretty cool. We went, it was funny because it was like snowstorms were coming in.
Yeah, I peeped that. I remember.
And then so we went from here all the way basically down to like by Oklahoma.
Okay.
We were all fitness geeks, so we like wanted to get a workout in after like being on the car all day and like just sitting. So we strategically like picked something out, like a gym somewhere, and all three of us signed up for like guest passes and went
in. What state? In Oklahoma?
I think it was in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like stopped, did a workout, showered, and kept going. So kept going. Texas, it was funny because like it was just weird, like seeing
Texas,
a desert.
Okay.
It was like, but like it was dark. It was like rainy. It was like misty, foggy. Like I would not have expected my experience in that
Texas,
way, but it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, we were just like strolling through.
They wanted to make it up to Las Vegas and just drive through it. And so we drove through it and like stopped at like a store somewhere. Yeah. And then kept going. And then once we were in California, we didn't just like take a route up to like just get to San Francisco as fast as possible. We literally wanted to hit the West Coast and like land on the beach somewhere.
Did you see the Big Sur? Like the
I love the Big Sur, but that wasn't where we went. That's not exactly where we landed, but eventually I did go down there.
I'm trying to see that.
And so it was just like a great moment going up Route 1. That's the one that takes you all the way up, and just seeing the coast. Yeah, it's a different type of coast.
Well, I mean,
Cliffs.
let's talk about, I guess, in regards to like lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had a good amount of time to, I guess, accustom yourself to like to the West Coast lifestyle.
Yeah.
So like, how is that you yourself individually, and then also, I guess, from a community perspective?
Yeah.
How does that oppose to New Jersey, like growing up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm real proud of being from Jersey.
You said you're real proud?
Really proud.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know this, but New Jersey has one of the highest amount of CEOs. Celebrities, I would say, not just CEOs, but like celebrities. Celebrities. That was my keyword. Sorry. Yes. Athletes, like celebrity people, well-known people from
we just
Jersey.
We just breeding fucking monsters.
Just breeding greatness.
Beast Coast.
And we're just overlooked.
So I gotta say that East Coast is more of like that rugged type of coast,
I was gonna say, like, is it because I don't
it roughens you up, I'd say. And the melting pot here is a lot different than the melting pot out there. Okay. So you just got to think about it. It's like just two soups. You like different soups, right?
I like the metaphor.
Different strokes for different folks. But
I feel you.
But I really, I enjoyed the time in New York and stuff. And like I said, I'm Jersey. I'm proud from being from Jersey. And going out there, it's just a lot more of a slow paced type of life.
Okay, so I guess it's true because I always thought like maybe that stereotype is like false.
They still suck at driving.
Oh,
really? You see a lot of speed racers out there and stuff. But I'd say that it's not really as much a slow pace. It's just more of like mindful, more conscious living. And
It's more intentional.
I'd say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And more in tune with nature, I'd say, because of the fact that the geography lends itself for that. And I think that kind of going back to your question, it was a very easy transition for me because it felt natural. It felt like I said, it's been calling my name, and it felt like home. It felt like this like intersection between Jersey, like not Jersey, but like East Coast.
I've always heard that San Francisco is like an East Coast city on the West Coast.
You could say that. I mean, it's more of like a transit city, I'd say. It's because like similar to New York, some people just go there for like a couple years and then they move and go somewhere else. And, you know, they did what they had to do there and that's it. But I'd say that with San Francisco, it's like you have the city right there. It's a small city. But, you know, you're in nature in seconds. And I think that's why for me, it was great because it was like this intersection between like New Jersey, New York vibes and Colombia. And I was just like, that's me. I'm home.
That's me.
I'm home.
Shout out Colombia.
So, paisas. That's what they call us from where we're from. But proud to be Colombian as well. Yeah. So I've always dreamt of like also going back there at one point in my life, maybe working out there.
Oh, in Colombia?
And stuff. So it's like I said, San Francisco transit city. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I could be there the rest of my life. That could be.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, do you see yourself like there for the rest of your life or just whatever life entails, whatever comes?
I say whatever life.
Is there a what's next? Like, do you have a what's next? Or is it just if it comes up,
I do have one, but I don't know when it's going to happen.
All right.
I dream of living in San Diego in my tiny house.
Like you mean like a tiny home or like
a tiny home?
No, it's tough.
Yeah. I love them.
It's like super minimal.
Yeah,
that's definitely.
Yeah, and I think that also just goes with, minimalism and sustainability. Yes. Very green, eco-friendly. So San Diego also. San Diego has a very a large triathlon community, and prior to COVID, I was training for a triathlon. And so I also, started to surf not too long ago as well. Yeah. Picked it up quite well, like pretty quickly. I was like, I don't know. I like to say that I'm a fast learner. If I really want to learn something, I really want to do something.
I mean, you're mad athletic.
I guess. Yeah. Machine. You got to be a machine. Yeah, sometimes. But I'm also like a pretty emotional person. So it's funny. It has to be a yin yang, right?
Yeah. I feel like it mixes well.
Yeah, exactly. And so I really wanted to do a triathlon like a while, like for some time already. Yeah. And I'd admired, the dedication, and I think it's because it also keeps you entertained. It's not like you're just doing this one sport all day, all season type of thing.
Swimming, biking, running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed doing that, but now it's like, all right, can't do that. Now I'm recovering from a concussion.
Can you tell us the story real quick, if you don't mind?
Yeah,
I've heard from him, but I haven't heard directly from you. And I heard you telling Traudi yesterday too, but I didn't hear I need the deets. I need the details.
All right. Well, hanging out with my parents on a Saturday. Okay. We have a little hut, ranch, whatever in the back. It's my dad's man cave. And
is the pool table still there?
Yeah, he had the pool table still there. Little bar, some other games, darts, chess. Come through. Come through. Make sure you bring a mask.
Anyone watching, bring a mask.
Pull up to this address.
And so I really was having fun with my parents that night because it's I did dry March, randomly. I don't know, just because I wanted to, and so also didn't feel like drinking too much. And now at this point we're in May, and so we were hanging out. We were drinking tequila. I was not drunk, I swear.
Yeah, wavy.
And I'm conscious that I should drink water when I drink. So I went inside to get water. Yeah. And my water bottle was in my bedroom. I come out and I see cop lights flashing in front of my house. And I'm like, oh shit, who's gonna get in trouble?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hope it's not us, because we weren't doing anything bad. But I ran into the living room and I'm like, oh my God. And I ended up tripping on the air purifier that was there in the dark because I didn't turn the lights on. So because I was running and because I tripped over something pretty big, it was pretty funny how it was pretty funny.
In retrospect, it was funny.
In retrospect, right? And I put my arm out, but I still landed on a hard wooden surface.
Okay.
And I still ended up hitting my
Was it
neck.
your jaw or like?
It was my neck, basically.
Oh,
it's right above my
goodness.
clavicle.
Goodness.
So I was inches away.
He had
from
told me the
I thought you
temple.
hit
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
it was
He had told
my
me the
neck.
temple. I was like,
so it was
that's fucking
basically
bad.
as I have gotten karate chopped with a wooden plank. And
My
so
goodness.
I got up, I seriously just thought it was just bad whiplash or something like that.
Yeah.
And the next day I woke up and I have a headache. I'm like, shit, I guess because I haven't drank tequila in a while.
Dry
It's
march.
just I'm just hungover. And that day we were celebrating Jada's graduation for her master's.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got some strawberries, whatever, one of those, and just went on a hike.
He likes to call that thought juice.
Thought juice, yeah.
Well, I guess that's why they call me Tatiana. Just kidding. No, they don't. I actually hate that fucking name, that.
Tatiana.
But I had to make the joke. It was too good. But yeah, we got that. We were just walking around. The next day we woke up and I woke up and I was still not feeling okay. I'm like, all right, again, it must have just been the drinks. But as the week progressed, I started getting a throbbing pain from the left hemisphere of my head, including my neck. And so I was getting really concerned, and I ended up eventually going to the emergency room and getting a CAT scan and an x-ray. And everything came out fine. So they're like, that's not gonna show up on a concussion isn't going to show up. A small concussion isn't going to show up on our CAT scan or whatever. And so it's take it easy, no screens, blah, blah, blah. But I just still it was still pretty bad. And eventually I ended up just, going to the doctor, doing the follow-ups, of course, seeing a neurologist, and ended up on medical leave. So I'm currently on short-term disability. So yeah, it's kind of that triathlon idea and dreams.
Just one thing after another.
Yeah. So I was just you know what? I'm gonna take it easy from here on out. Focus on my health. Focus on setting myself up for what I want in my career and my professional life, and reconnect with my friends and family, and because I know that I used to dedicate a lot of time to my sports and things like that. And I still am trying to stay active. With yoga. My neurologist, funny enough, he's a holistic type of doctor and recommended that I did Kundalini Yoga. So
What does that entail?
So it's a type of yoga that has more of traditional roots. They have 5,000 sets or flows, you could say, that are already just set in stone. This is how you do this Kundalini Kriya. A Kriya is a class. Okay. And so it's it has to be very specific, So, and it's incorporating a lot of breathing exercises, different types of breathing, and chants as well. And so when you go to a typical Hatha or Vinyasa class, maybe you'll do a chant when you're going to start or something like that, but it's not as much of incorporating the traditional sets of yoga.
And that's what you've been doing recently?
You
got recommended?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
So with the traditional sets of yoga, with Kundalini Kriyas classes, you have those 5,000 sets. Mm-hmm. However, if you go to Vinyasa or Hatha class, it's not
there's a lot more leeway in it.
Yeah, the instructor literally can create what kind of flow they want for the day.
I think that's cool though, because sometimes it's an expression of themselves.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
And you got options. So with Kundalini, it's a lot more about the spiritual aspect. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I really, really appreciated about it was the starting mantra type. Mm-hmm. I should know already what the name is, but basically is like I bow down to like the divine worship, like within. I worship, the divine within me, kind of thing. So it's like I'm of like I think I like to associate myself, or not associate, but with like Buddha and like Buddha morals and like yes, all humans, we all are here to suffer, basically. Like we all are like playing victim very easily. Like we're like, oh, woe is me. That's just us as humans. And so meditation really helps you train your mind. So just as much as like I am an athlete and training my body, I also train my mind. So I call myself a mindful athlete.
Hey.
Or the conscious, whatever you want to alternate. But so yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And at the end, when you close off, it's like you say, the truth is within me, or, you represent the truth.
Okay.
And I'd say like, I like to say that I've always been a very honest person and upfront and things like that. And so thanks. And so that's something I've appreciated a lot about this, because it's really helped me tap a little bit more into my mind.
Okay, so you say you're an honest person, right? Can you speak a little bit more into that in regards to, I guess, like, are you honest with yourself? You feel me? Yeah. Like personality, your individualism, just your overall lifestyle.
Yeah. I like to say that knowledge is power. And the more you know, better. And I think that you can't ignore facts. And so you live your day-to-day in a particular way. Society tells you to be a particular thing. The other day I was listening to this podcast with Glennon Doyle, and she came out with this book called Untamed.
Untamed?
Have you heard about it?
No, but I need book recommendation.
Untamed. And so she talks about faith. She talks about her sexuality, her career, and things like that. And even just like women's movement and women's empowerment. And she talks about this event when she is at the zoo with her daughter, and they're seeing this show, and there's a dog, and there's, I believe it was a cheetah. And the dog comes out, everybody's roaring for the dog, and then the cheetah comes out, everybody's roaring for the cheetah.
What?
But like,
I'll be cheering for a cheetah.
And then, but like when the cheetah comes out, it's like, it's all majestic, and the two very different animals. And so the dog, there's this like Jeep, like a couple, meters away from them, and there's a dirty pink rabbit, like a stuffed animal tied behind the Jeep. Okay. And so basically it's like a race for the dog to chase after that. And they do the same thing with the cheetah. So it's like they've basically learned how to use the dog and they've done this for a lot of other animals, of using a dog to help train a wild animal. And so the cheetah goes and goes after the Jeep as well, the dirty rabbit. And then later on, they bring her out into like her own field, and just the way that this animal was, the cheetah was out in that environment was so different than the way that she was on that track. And like Glennon Doyle's daughter was like, oh, look, mommy, like she looks so different now than like everybody else. And it's like, that was her in her real state in the wilderness kind of thing. Yeah. And society, tells women to like chase these dirty bunny rabbits, that we shouldn't be. Like, you need to look this way and you need to be this way. And I think that was just like a really great metaphor for me to like think about, of like, sit down when I'm like observing something. I'm like, is this a dirty pink rabbit, or is this like something worth
It's
chasing?
like a constant metaphor that plays into your life.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and you gotta always just be honest with yourself and what you want and how you want to live life. Because if you aren't honest with yourself and with what you want, then you're always gonna live this life of suffering.
Oh my God, yo! Me and this guy talk about this all the time. We live our lives the same exact way. Like,
it's literally insane.
Going back to your concussion. Would you, I just think it's like crazy how something like that affected your health in a way can change your mindset so drastically. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, how that changed so much of like how you think?
I think that you just underestimate how powerful your mind is. They say we only use like 6% of our brain.
That's actually a lot.
If that.
It's actually not true.
Some of these people on this planet right now, though, like might not
be
be
less than 6.
Maybe less. Maybe more.
You're talking 5.
Who knows?
4.
And in the kind of going back to the yoga class, like your teacher says certain things to you, and it's like, like think about the universe in your brain, like in your head, and it's like you have a whole universe in it, right? Yeah. And I just, I think that with this incident, like I have been paying a lot more attention about what's healthy for my brain, because we take supplements and vitamins for our body, but are you really paying attention to which ones are the ones that are good for your brain? How are you going to try to prevent Alzheimer's? How are you going to prevent some of these diseases that
life naturally
comes at you? And
that's another thing. Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't know about this stuff, then how can you?
Yeah. And if you've ever done research on aging, people talk about like, the fountain of youth and whatever. So they've done research, and like maybe your body could be super healthy, but your brain is the one that's just like gonna age no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's why, those diseases come up, because your body could be great and everything. You'd be 110 years old, walking around, but like your brain is crippling up into like a raisin.
Yeah.
So I'm into preventative medicine, and that's why I've also started doing a lot of research about what can help post-concussion syndrome, because that's what I have, and have this be something that I take with me for the rest of my life. And also think about the fact that, invisible injuries are a thing, and bring awareness to that, because I grew up having a mom, who in the past 15 years has been on disability because she has chronic back problems. And that's always impacted me, and that's always affected me, because it's like, she looks great, but like, she's going in pain.
My dad also has chronic back pain.
Yeah.
And like, that's when I like really started taking care of my health and stuff. Cause I'm like, I feel so bad for him. Like to watch him like go through that pain every single day, and he still works, which is, oh my God, just crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too. It's like, my mom doesn't work. So my mom's been like a stay-at-home mom for like 13 years, maybe.
That's his own challenge.
And that's his own challenge. And, you don't really socialize or like have friends like that. And she's a little, self-conscious about her pronunciation and her accent with English. And it's a little bit timid of putting herself out there and stuff. And it's like, all of that also has to play a role in your mind and in your head and stuff. So,
that's facts.
In a way, it's like, yes, like invisible injuries literally are a thing. And like I also, when I did crew at UD, I had one of the coxswains there. She was, why can't I hit my head? So, excuse me, because I know but it's the one where your muscles kind of start eating away at themselves.
Atrophy?
Yes.
Okay.
Muscular atrophy.
Yeah.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Eating away at itself? Yeah.
And they have like a low survival rate. So it's like usually by like age 26, 27, like they're expected to pass away.
Wow.
So it's like, YOLO, like you only live once. Like they know that they have like this deadline almost, and they're gonna like, they live their life to like their max. And they're still going to go after what they want to do and stuff. And so like those, like coming across people like that.
It's just empowering.
It's empowering. Yeah. And like I said, like the mindful athlete aspect, kind of all gets incorporated into this, because it's like, moving forward now, I'm also thinking about my health and also about other people's mental health too.
Yeah.
Because through meditation, it's definitely helped me tap into my emotions and my inner self. But I'm aware that not everybody is as aware about their emotions as I am. And I feel like I've been a little like, I'm not going to say unstable, but I'm more sensitive right now, I'd say. Okay. Like I had a friend. Than before. Like I had a friend from Cali, a coworker send me a care package. some brew doctor, kombucha, some vegan mac and cheese, some sage. And I literally started tearing. And I was just like crying at one point too. Yeah. I'm like, thanks so much for sending me this.
Yo.
So, you know, if I would have obviously still been as appreciative of it. I just would have been like crying.
Is that your love language? Was it gift? I think it's gifts. I think it's
gifts.
Gifts. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think that I don't know. I like to say like all the love languages are mine, the good ones, because it's like you need to have like a well-rounded relationship. I like to say, and everybody works a little bit different. And you know, some people say like, "Oh, I don't like gifts," and it's like, shut up. Like you high key do like it.
Like how do you
especially if it's like something real intentional
That's what I'm saying.
and like given, you know, with thought and care or whatever. And so yeah.
Nice.
I want to speak about what you just said, intentional, because we were just talking about it before the podcast. As that, like, I feel like it plays a huge role in like how you live your life.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
Like every move has an intent, whether it's known from the get-go or whether it's known like 2 weeks later to years later. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I think about your carbon footprint, basically. Like we are destroying the planet. Like no doubt, hands down. Like we fucked up. Yeah. Like, and I took like a climate change class in college. Like I got a scuba certification. Like all the sports that I did were outdoors: rowing, swimming, running, whatever, right? Cycling. And so it's like I've become a lot more intentional in my living through sustainability as well. So I think about not just like this product that I'm going to consume, but I'm also going to think about its past, you know, post-consumer life. You know, I only like products that are glass or, you know, in decompostable packaging or things like that. And it's important to know where your boundaries lie with that, because you have to know when to say no when somebody offers you a water bottle and you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay thirsty, or at least like get the water from the the faucet or something like that. Yeah. So you know, that's why for me it's like every day you need to live with purpose. Every day you need to live with intention, and you also got to be conscious about how you are impacting the world and your environment and the ecosystem, because we do create a lot of trash.
Yeah.
We some trashy bitches.
Yeah, we're trash. You're trash.
So let's transition. I'm going to transition.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So we're transitioning toward the end of the podcast. Okay. I wanted to ask you, I guess since last time being a guest, maybe like in future, but like what would be, I guess, from your life experience, you've gone through a lot, you've experienced a lot. What would be your piece of advice for like someone out there just looking for their way way in life? Yeah. What would be something that you've grasped and like learned and accustomed yourself to? What would you pass on to that person?
Get off your ass.
Get off your ass.
Get off your ass.
Can you expand on that?
I fuck
there's thinkers. There's there's believers, thinkers, doers. Like there's all different types of people, and like if you don't take action on something, if you don't plan on something, then it's never going to happen. And you do have to, there's like those quotes of like a dream is just, like a goal without a deadline or something like that, and it's like, learn how you work, learn about yourself, learn about how you're going to make things happen, because we all work very differently. And I think that you have to know how to, like, to your question, how are you going to find your calling? It's like, well, how's your calling ever even going to come to you if you're never even going to put yourself in the position for it? I go by this mantra, the motto of like, success is when preparation meets opportunity. And
can you say that again?
Yeah.
Look at the camera.
Success is when preparation meets opportunity.
No, that is the truth. That is 100% the truth.
Yeah. So you have to put in the work, right? And there's another podcast I listened to once, I think it was like a TED Talk one, about luck. And one of my ex-boyfriends used to say to me like, oh, like, yeah, you're just like really lucky and things like that. And I'm like, nah, I'm like, this concussion was not luck. I'm like, you don't know. I've gotten like stuff stolen from my car. I've gotten broken into.
Is that luck?
Two GoPro stolen, 2 Apple Watches stolen. Like things happen to everybody's life,
Shit
but
happens, regardless.
Exactly.
Everybody's going through something.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, when I think about luck, and it's just like, no, like it's because I've put myself out there. It's because I've, been honest with myself, and because I've, I wear my heart on my sleeve. And so it's kind of like, somebody out there one day, they're going to know like I am all about good intentions. And when you manifest things and, again, this kind of goes back to you getting off your ass. Like you want to do something, but just because you're going to talk about it doesn't mean
you're going to do
shit.
Yeah.
There's the talkers and then there's the doers. Right. And you got to know which one you are.
Facts, Traudi.
Facts, Traudi.
Nah, he's doing the audio.
No, he working here. He working.
You're not thinking audio.
So I think that, it all comes down to like being you true to yourself and what you want, how you're going to accomplish. And, kind of going back to the mind thing, like your mind is a universe. You are not your thoughts. Okay.
Say it again.
You are not your thoughts.
We'll do like a little zoom in, watch caption.
And so, you got to know like when you just got to like take a step back and just like let the traffic go. Because if you just sit there and you just try to see and look at every car that passes by, you're going to drive yourself insane. And that's the same thing with your thoughts. And you got to be able how to sort them out. You got to be able to how to sort your emotions. Like I don't know if you guys know, Michael Phelps has, he's like the, on the commercials for like something like that.
Oh, Headspace?
No, Headspace is a different one, but it's like Talkspace. I know Headspace. Headspace is a meditating app. But it's basically like for you to be able to like text and chat with like a therapist.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, dude, just like talking with somebody that's professional, like helps you sort your things and your emotions out, like make it a norm.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, that was kind of like, I guess like a byproduct for this like podcast. I'm not saying we're professionals, but I just feel like conversations need to be had, whether it be about yourself. I feel like most people are shy to talk about themselves, but like when the opportunity comes, they fucking love it.
They're not shy.
Because like, what else do you know other than like the life that you've lived? So I just feel like that was my input, that this podcast was for what you were saying. Yeah. It's perfect. It aligns perfectly.
And so, it's like just being true to yourself with like how you want and like how you want to live your life, but also like you can have a lot of different lives.
Oh my God.
While you're here on
about
planet.
this all the time. There's so many lives to live. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah. And you can do it. And it's like everybody has different chapters. Like we're a book and you get to decide like, how long each chapter be and what's the next one and things like that. So again, intention, planning stuff out. Like a good author, you can plan out your chapters.
Would you write a book?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
One day.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get mine signed too.
I'm starting a business, a side project. So, that might be first before the book. So I hope.
Okay.
And we got a minute left.
We got a minute left. Would you like to say anything about that side project?
Yeah, sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
Yeah. If you're comfortable.
Yeah. Working on the brand logo design right now. I already got the name, getting like the brand kit. So, and it's going to be a platform for individuals to be able to lead a more sustainable lifestyle by having the different options for reusable products that they can use. And it could be, house products, beauty products, electronics. There's like different technology around out there that you can use, like camping gear and things like that, right? Okay. But it's going to go beyond that because I want to be different. And I think thinking about post-COVID life, I have to be conscious of those kinds of things too. And, retail is really struggling right now. So it's like, what's going to be retail 2.0? And so that's kind of what my basis is on like having it be like, what is, retail 2.0 going to look like? Yeah. But with that sustainability, eco-friendly mindset and mission associated to it. So
cool.
Would you like to drop the name or no?
No.
Okay,
Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I think that's a wrap. Yeah. That's a wrap. Thanks for being on our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Where can they find you?
Yes.
Okay. Instagram, Tati on the go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. LinkedIn.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
We're trying to network. Come on.
Network. That's why we here, right? That's why we here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, LinkedIn, Tatiana Gomez, or the URL is like Tatiana-Gomez, whatever.
All right. We'll link it.
Yeah. So hit me up.
Word.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Woo.